It's Wednesdays with Keegs, and what a Wednesday in Toronto. You've got the Toronto Blue Jays coming off a victory. You have the Leafs hiring a head coach. The World Cup is in town. It's summer. Keegs, is it the greatest Wednesday in the history of Toronto?
It's not a bad one. Jays are back.
The Jays are so back.
Leafs have made a perfect coaching hire, which
Yep.
is one that no one even knows how to have an opinion on. It's kind of like, I feel like the Leafs coaching hire really captures Canadian sports media too. I need Stephen A. Smith complete idiocy on this hire. I need yelling and screaming. I need hot takes, but I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for a lot of people just to be like, well, I think it's okay. And their co-host to say, I think it's okay too. And it's a great Toronto Maple Leafs hire. So it's fantastic, man. I always love it when the Leafs make big news because immediately my phone lights up. Hey, Keeks, we're going to have to cancel that Blue Jays chat we had today. They don't matter because the Leafs just made news.
It goes back to vanilla ice cream. So if you just serve vanilla, no one can really complain. They're just like, whatever, it is what it is.
Exactly, man. It's a flavor.
Hey, I said the Jays are back, but you know who's really back? David Schneider, baby.
He is. Finally, man. That's what David Schneider looks like, man. That was such a good game from him. And David Schneider has a very clear identity as a baseball player, and it's about balance. He's balancing two things, which is taking walks and hitting baseballs very hard. Earlier this season, he was just doing one of those things. Even when he went down to AAA Buffalo, Dan, I think it was 24 walks in 14 games, which is ridiculous. And it's good, but it's only good if you're doing something else with it. And that's taking big swings. And he was a bit too passive earlier this year. That's what he told us last night here in Boston. He was too passive. And he was just watching pitches. And when you outsmart pitchers and you take all those walks, it's probably a bit addicting. But God, you need to hit for power. You desperately need to hit for power. That's what it looks like, man. Like a big home run over the monster, 419 feet. Another double off the green monster. This is where it all started out for David Schneider, man, back 4 years ago now, with that record-setting first series, 9 hits, 2 home runs. And David Schneider is really important to how this team is made up. Because, Dan, remember back in spring training, they left spring training with 100 outfielders and barely enough infielders. And the entire idea was that David Schneider could play some left field, but also slide in and play some second base. They've been without that, but they need
that. Dylan Cease, he had a performance last night that was not Dylan Cease-esque. And I say that because he only struck out 7 and he walked 4, but it's still no earned runs. And he was the calming effect the Toronto Blue Jays needed, although the pen almost blew it until Louis came in with his cape on and said, no, guys, I got this.
It's funny that Dylan Cease can throw 5 shutout innings and he's still disappointed, and it feels a bit disappointing, because he's so damn good that 5 innings on 108 pitches, it was just a lot of 3-2 counts. It felt so labor intensive. It was just very kind of trudging through the mud. But he said after the start, and I liked this from Dylan Cease, he said, this is not sustainable. It was not pretty. It's not sustainable. I can't do this forever. And he's right. You need 7 innings from Dylan Cease. That's not what that was. So it was him kind of at his best, but kind of also showing us what his limitations are as a starting pitcher. If he does this over 5 innings each time, he's a very good starter. If he does it over 6 1/3, 7 innings each time, he wins the Cy Young Award. He catches up to Cam Schlittler of the Yankees, and he wins the Cy Young. If he does this deeper into games, it's just 3-2 counts, man. 3-2 counts over and over again. And that's how you end up with 4 walks. And it's dangerous because Dylan Cease can look fantastic. But if you're walking batters like that, you are one bad pitch away from a 2-run home run, a 3-run home run. One bad pitch. And that's a dangerous game for Cease to play. We've seen it happen a couple of times already. 5th or 6th inning, that 2 or 3 home run happens. It's just it makes me even question how I cover him, because yesterday, 5 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. You should probably take that 7 days a week. but there's more in there, man.
Mhm,
Like if Max Scherzer goes out and puts up that exact same line tonight, they are having a parade. It
mhm.
is fantastic outcome. But from Dylan Cease, you just know he's better. He can be better than that.
Since you brought up Max, let's tackle that. We'll get to George Springer hitting his 300th in a second. Texting with buddies today, and I said, if he doesn't have, I'm giving it a 2-run leash. If Max gives up 2 in the first and is not out of that game, then I am left with nothing but questions and befuddlement because we know what the script is. If he's given up 2, there's gonna be a lot more. What is the leash? Because it has to be the shortest leash in the history of baseball.
Dan, I was interested to see what the threat was going to be there. Like if he gives up 2, I'm gonna go burn Fenway Park down. Like that's it. I'm, I'm storming Fenway Park. It's got to be short, man. It really does. I know this bullpen is gassed, and it's only going to keep getting more gassed, and that's a problem. But at this point, you need to win the winnable games. In Boston right now, Boston's a bad team. There's no way around it. Like this is not like Buck's rant from last year about the Yankees, which still he nailed it because that was more on the line. It was controversial. The Red Sox are obviously a bad baseball team. They're not good. So you've got to take 3 here. You've got to take a chunk of wins. No more of this win loss, win win loss loss win loss. It bores me. This is when you need to grab a few games. And if Max Scherzer doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. And that opens up a big awkward conversation, especially if Patrick Corbin looks competent the next time out. Dan, if this gets to that point, I still don't know what the move would be. You're not going to DFA Max Scherzer. You're not just going to cut the guy. And keep in mind, you're also one pitcher shaking their arm away from needing a starter you don't have again. So how can the Blue Jays get around this? I'm still not sure. But this is a big, big night for Max Scherzer, for the Blue Jays, and for how this is going to look. I know that John Schneider has said he would like to see healthy Scherzer to really get a feel for him. You don't have forever. The Blue Jays have been waiting for healthy Scherzer all year. It is June 17th. You can't keep waiting another month for this.
But you know what it turns into when those runs start to snowball and then Max comes out for the next inning. You're like, okay, they've thrown in the towel. They just want him to eat up innings now. And it's infuriating as a fan saying, okay, we aren't going to try win.
And then you have to try to burn the guy. You're risking more injury.
Yes.
That's when the long man comes in. But Spencer Miles is also such a good long man. Like,
Mhm.
you need I wish you had a 27th roster spot just for a slop tossing long man. Like a guy who could throw 6 innings if you need it and you get through a game.
Wait,
But
that's got to be someone's name, the slop tosser.
the slop tosser, it's just a guy who's throwing 88 and you're essentially giving up. But you don't have that. Like Spencer Miles is still an important piece of this bullpen, and everybody's tired. You're like Jimmy Garcia might be back the next day or two, but he's only throwing an inning at a time. Like he's dealt with injuries. So you've got to protect that bullpen somehow, some way. This team is dreaming of a week where all 5 starters throw 6 innings. Like that would be the best thing to happen to John Schneider since his kids were born, I think, at this point. Like just a week of 5 starters going 6 innings, and you can go from Rogers to Fisher to Varland one of those times. You can go to a long man another time because you have a big lead. That would reset this organization, man. It's just there have not been 2 or 3 of those steady days in a row. And I know that bullpen usage and a bullpen being gassed is not like the most exciting thing. Like people want to talk about Vladdy, want to talk about the controversy, but I really can't overstate how important that is and how much it's straining this team right now, especially when I think about September and ideally October.
We mentioned Davis Schneider. That's going to be a boost for the team because the team likes him so much. The fan base likes him so much. And you see George Springer hit his 300th. That has to have the same effect on this team where everyone in that clubhouse wishes nothing but the best for both of those guys. And that's got to be a morale boost. And this team, if any team in baseball needs a morale boost, it's the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, definitely. Like any of us can relate. Like when we have worked at jobs, at companies, and maybe the person you don't like gets a boost or a promotion or something, you're thinking, come on, right? But when someone who is so well liked in the clubhouse, like George is, and like Miles Straw is with that 14 pitch at bat, like David Schneider is, that gets the team going together. And Dan, I'm at a point now where I think it's time to stop reaching back for the 2025 Blue Jays and maybe they figure out a new identity. Like it's not about photocopying last year. It's about figuring out what this year is going to be. And whatever it is, it's got to include George Springer. He's got to be better. And he has been better recently, which is really encouraging. The walks over his past 5-6 games have been great. He looks quicker at the plate. He looks younger and fresher. He's got more spring to him. And that's very encouraging because last year he was arguably their MVP, I think, at some points. So to see him get 300 is pretty cool. That's a lot of longevity. I don't think people appreciate how hard it is to play for a long time in this game, especially when you're George Springer, who is built as a pretty big guy. He takes a lot of wear and tear on that body, and he's had a lot of injuries over the year, including playing through a broken toe this year.
I'm glad you brought up 2025 because you'll see a lot of people online saying it's time to move on from last season. And I was actually after school drop off this morning, I gave that a lot of thought and I said, okay, I hear you, but here's my take. You don't go into this summer as a family and completely erase last summer. You're like, no, we can take, okay, yeah, we had a nice day at that cottage. We went on a road trip that day. You can take pieces from the previous summer. You don't need to erase it. You can still relive the good times. So just take the parts that work, the parts that bring you joy into the next summer. So all these people saying, erase it from your mind. No, we can keep it alive because those bring us great joy, and this team can recapture that as well.
Yeah, you've got to take the good parts.
Yes.
And for me, look back 2 years to 2024 as well. That was the bad year before last year. That year, it felt like the Blue Jays were trying to have 13 hitters play the exact same style of baseball. Everyone be the exact same hitter. And it didn't work. It just didn't. Last year, everyone nailed their job, and they did such a good job at their specific job. And I know that starts to sound like Bill Belichick-y, boring sports stuff, but I think it's very important here. Like last night was a great example. Miles Straw's job on this team is not to be Vladdy, even though I think probably close to the same amount of home runs, maybe the exact same right now. His job's not to be Vladdy or George Springer. His job is to play excellent defense, and he did that. His job is to go up to the plate and at least make a mess of things, grind a pitcher down, and he did that with a 14-pitch at-bat. David Schneider's job is to come in and crush a lefty. He did that. George Springer's job is to hit for some power and reach base. He did that. That's when this lineup can get exciting again. And you see how all of these identities fit together. Nathan Lucas as the contact guy who's always putting it in play, that showed up. And you're seeing how these fit together. Because baseball is the unique sport. It's 9 guys taking turns. And good teams let 9 guys go in a row and they just add up the results. Great teams, World Series teams, figure out a way for those 9 players to add up to a little bit more than their sum. There's a bit of a multiplier in there somehow in some way when these skill sets and individual identities complement one another. And it's rare to find. It's hard to find because, again, you're taking turns. You're not running set plays, okay? But when you find it, it's magic, and that's what the Blue Jays found last year. So the framework of last year is still valuable.
Yes.
You've got to find different ways to be a team inside of that because players are different. Vladdy is not who he was. My goodness, you've got to find different ways to do it. But you know the roadmap now. You know it's possible. So that should be at least a little bit of optimism.
So you mentioned a great team. They keep adding to it, and then total it up. But when it gets to Vladdy, it's a subtraction. He returns to the lineup, and you know, I Jays fans were probably thinking, maybe we don't put him back in.
3 home runs, 726 OPS. It's June 17th. I can't believe this at this point, really. It's something where I've seen Vladdy have some cold stretches. I've seen a lot of great hitters have cold stretches. And I know and I accept that Vladdy's can tend to go a little bit longer because he is a rhythm and timing hitter. Because he really relies on rocking back and being in rhythm and in timing with the pitcher. And when you are that style of hitter, your cold stretches tend to last a little longer. It's just part of the game. Your hot stretches will be hotter. You try to trade it off. But this is too long. I mean, I'm not breaking any news here. This is too long. We're almost 3 months into the season. And Vladdy's numbers are not just bad by his standards, they are below average for a Major League Baseball player, which doesn't make sense to me because he is so gifted. And that has not gone anywhere. Okay. Vladdy has not forgotten how to play baseball. He is still one of the most gifted hitters on this planet. Like what he did in the postseason last year, that was just a few months ago. Like that's still him. He's still capable of that. But you need to limit these lows to make the highs worthwhile. And I know that it's, like John Schneider said, it'll only take a swing, it'll take a game, and he'll catch fire. It's got to happen, though. You cannot survive on the promise of this coming around. It's got to happen. And this team, Dan, a couple games below 500, surviving the injuries well enough. They're on the fringes of the wild card race because anybody who puts their pants on the right way gets a wild card spot these days. If Vladdy plays like himself, they're 5 games above 500. They're winning so many of these tight games. And no matter how many ways I can break down this team, bullpen usage and all this stuff that people probably don't care as much about, the easy answer is that if Vladdy plays better, the Blue Jays are a good team. Right now, they're an okay team. If Vladdy plays like himself, they are a good, bordering on very good team. And when Vladdy catches fire, that will be the most contagious thing we see all season. That will lift everyone in that clubhouse. It will relax everyone in that clubhouse because they know the big boy's back. Guys like Ernie Clement and Nathan Lucas and Miles Straw, they can say, okay, I don't need to try to do anything more because the big guy is back. I can do my thing. And that's when the Blue Jays become the 2026 Blue Jays. Right now, they're just in this costume of 2025, and it's not working because they don't have a guy who was, for a month, maybe the best player in the sport. Like outside of Shohei Ohtani, who I can't even count him. He's in a different realm. Vladdy was the best player in baseball on the biggest stage in the sport. And it's hard to watch this happen because it's lasted almost 3 months.
In the costume of 2025. I like that. And then it leads my brain to think you can reuse a costume, just repurpose it. You can use parts of it. Hey, we got an injury update from the Blue Jays about a pitcher that a lot of Jays fans probably wondered. I didn't know this guy was still with the team.
This big Jimmy Garcia?
No, Tiedeman.
Oh, Ricky Tiedeman. Jimmy Garcia, I think, has set a record for rehab.
Well, also Garcia, because both of them are like, wait, these guys are still with the club?
I remember walking into spring training in mid-February. This happens every year. Jimmy Garcia's in the bullpen, dripping sweat, chucking max effort. I'm like, dude, okay. It's been like 4 months. Jimmy being back will be big. But, man, Ricky Tiedeman, he finally 706 days, man, since Ricky Tiedeman has thrown a pitch in a game. This is a start. It'll still be another month or whatever until he's back up in AAA. Somehow he is just 23 years old, which baffles even me. And I mean, if anyone's been responsible for the waves of hype and disappointment over the year, it's probably me because I write about Ricky Tiedeman every spring. And I will never forget 3-4 years ago, standing on the backfields at the Blue Jays complex, watching Ricky Tiedeman throw some live batting practice. He was 19, probably going on 20. And I was surrounded by Blue Jays, the MLB players who came over to see him. And it was just breathtaking. Then Ricky Tiedeman got into a spring game, and I remember he struck out Javi Baez with 99 up and in on the corner. And you're thinking, this guy is the next big thing. Like, let's forget the lessons of Nate Pearson and everything else. This guy is the next big thing. And he still can be, even if it's probably more as a reliever than a 180 inning starter, because it's been 4 or 5 years and he hasn't even thrown 180 innings in the minors.
So
But Ricky
what is
Tiedeman,
it that makes him so special? The gas, the movement?
both. He can touch into the upper 90s. I think he'll probably be more of a 97, 98 guy at this point. His slider is just violent from the left side. Like his fastball slider alone can make him a good MLB reliever. He has a great changeup, but it's just so rare from the left side. Like a lot of lefty relievers are more like Mason Fluharty, where it's kind of the funky cross you up style. Ricky Tiedeman's a different monster entirely. And even with all these injuries, he hasn't pitched in 2 years, and I still had him as their number 4 prospect going into this season. Because I know there are players who can come up, even like Brandon Valenzuela. He was ranked down in the 20s in our list, and he's great. He's a big leaguer, and he's going to be one. But I'm still so enticed by the ceiling of Ricky Tiedemann. And he's somehow just 23 years old, even though it feels like he's 28 now. And he's back to being that wild card, man. I know prospects will break your heart, and maybe there's a 90% chance Ricky Tiedemann still does. But if he can come up as a reliever late this season, which is still possible, there's some special potential there. There really is. He has battled his elbow. He's battled a lot of physical issues because he doesn't look like a pitcher, man. He looks like a free safety. Like he is built. And the human body can only do so much. And he has pushed the human body a little far at times, I think. But now I think he's in a better place. And this is the lottery ticket, man. This is what makes prospect coverage and minor league baseball so fun. Like maybe this doesn't work out at all. Maybe we never see him. But if we do, my God, it will be fun.
You answered my question. We might see him in the majors. And my final question is, if we were to give an over-under on Scherzer's runs allowed before he's yanked, if I put it at 2.5, I think I already know your answer. We going over or under? Yeah, of course.
Over.
I knew it. Like, come on.
I think it's, especially in a park where you can sneak a couple short home runs over the fly balls.
What would you put it at? 4.5?
Yeah, maybe a 3.5 line.
Okay, 3.5.
And then you're talking about whether he is going to go deep enough to allow that much. Like I'm not sure how deep he'll go even on a good day. Maybe it's not a full start, but man, this is the more I think of it, Dan, like this is a big start for Max Scherzer. Like we're witnessing a Hall of Famer trying to hold on.
Yeah.
And it's these often end with kind of a tragic figure of a guy trying to hold on until they can't anymore. Maybe he's got a bit more in him. Maybe this is when reality becomes undeniable. We'll see. But it makes a Wednesday game against a crappy baseball team in the Red Sox really watchable, man. This is going to be interesting.
Maybe he will find pieces of his 2025 costume and bring them out to Fenway.
He would find peace. I was like, Max Scherzer ain't finding peace, man. I've never seen that guy at peace.
Thanks, buddy. Peace.
You got it, man.